This is the latest impact driver on the 40 volt XGT system from Makita. This is the TD004G, and in the US that will likely be the GDT03, seen as the TD002G was never released in the US. Instead they decided to use the TD003G and call that the O2, which is a weaker tool than the O2. Anywho, we don't want to start off right at the confusing stuff. This is Makita's answer to Tools and Stuff doing reviews where he just slams in big screws as fast as he can, and Makita often gets beaten by other brands. That's why they made this, because of me. That may not be exactly 100% true, but this basically is Makita's answer to Milwaukee and the other big smashing impact drivers. This is Makita's most powerful impact driver yet. But when you look at it, you might think, looks a little bit plain. Looks a little bit like an old impact wrench or something. And that's sort of basically what it is, I think. It's the TW004G with a 6.35mm hex chuck or 1/4 inch hex chuck on the front instead of a 1/2 inch drive or a 3/8 square drive. It's an impact driver in an impact wrench's body, so to speak. Now don't think of this new impact as a new top of the line flagship best Makita model. This is just built for brute strength. It's not on the same level as the O1 in the back here and the O2. These are flagship models, you can tell because they're purple. If this was a flagship model, I would have a purple one. But this is teal because that's probably the only color they'll make it in. But who knows. But they definitely won't be doing the full range of colors like they do with the full flagship models. So why is it not a flagship model? Well, it's a bit more basic apart from the torque setting. Features and spec wise, it's different to the others, not quite as high end. But if you want to just whack in big screws, this is the tool for you. Probably. We've got to test it first, right? But basically the differences are, if we take a look at all three of these two flagship ones have a lot more settings. So they have the 4 speed settings that all the grunty Makita impact drivers have, but they also have wood screw modes, bolt release modes. This has 4 speeds and then a tech screw mode, so that's for putting screws into thin metal so you don't strip out the thread or strip out the metal, but that's it. It doesn't have all the other ones that this and this have, nor does it have some of the other features that you've come to know and expect from Makita high-end impacts. Even the 18 volt ones have this feature where you use this button up here to change speed. So if you're not familiar with Makita tools, if you use this button up here, you'll see the lights flash. So that's me cycling through the speeds. So instead of looking down here and changing it down here, if you just want to flick between the speed, you can just whack your finger trigger up, bang, away you go again, different speed, bang. You know, it's nice and easy to just cycle through stuff. You can preset that to do 2 different things. If you want to go full whack and a bolt release mode, for instance, you can program it to do that. On this one, you'll notice in that same position as that trigger is just 2 LED lights. No lights around the front here like you've got on the O2. No ring light, just basic. One thing it does have though, which I'm so glad to see the return of because I thought they were gone forever, glow in the dark ring. So if the power goes off, you'll be able to find this one in the dark and this one in the dark, but not this one. It's a shame. So that's the basic main differences. This doesn't have as many settings, it doesn't have as good a lighting, and it doesn't have the little quick switch there to change your settings. But it does have one thing over these two, and that's power. The original 001G, 220 Newton meters of fastening torque. The 002G, 220 Newton meters of max fastening torque. And the new TD004G, 230. Now the one that is missing, the TD003G, I never got because it's not an improvement on these ones. It's not a flagship model either. It is a budget model, so to speak. It's got less features similar to this, but it's only 210 Newton meters. Now there's not a lot of difference, of course, between all those. 210, 220, 230, How much difference is that really going to make? Well, we're going to find out in a minute. So the flagship model here, the 002, we're looking at 3,700 revolutions per minute and 4,600 impacts. That's quite a lot. That's right up there. Whereas the new one, the 004, has 3,900 revolutions per minute and 3,900 impacts per minute. So it's a little bit quicker, but the impacts aren't as quick. So it'll spin faster, but it won't whack quite as fast. But if we've got a bigger anvil in here, it'll be able to hit that screw in more with each whack than this will. Doesn't look greatly different in size on the front, but maybe we do have a little bit more mass in here that will get those screws in a bit quicker. If we take a listen to all of them, this is the 001G, 3,700 revolutions per minute. That's speed 4, of course. The 02, 3,700 RPM also. Although sounds a little bit faster. And this one, the 3,900 RPM model. When you pull the trigger on this, I can feel and hear that this is just dying to drive some screws. So let's go do that. I'm going to put it up against some other brands. I'll put it up against these ones first, of course. We'll do the old split screen jobby. I'm not going to put it up against every impact driver I've got because, as you can see, there's quite a few of them here. And yeah, I haven't got enough time for that. So I'll just cherry pick some of the best ones. How about we go with the top HiKOKI or Metabo HPT if you're in the States, although I don't think it's been released as a Metabo HPT as of yet. The top DeWalt, the 860, beast of a thing, the highest torque rating around of just about any impact driver, I think. And then which of these two, which is the best? I'll let you, oh, not that one. Or this one, I'll let you guys argue down below, the Gen 3, the Gen 4, which is the best. I'll put it up against both so we can check that out. So we're going to do this with freshly charged 5 amp hour batteries. We're going to put all the tools on full whack. I'll show you the screws as we go, and we'll put the specs for each tool up on the screen, RPM, impacts per minute, and maximum torque. We're going to start with my favorite, the good old Simpson Strong Tie, Strong Drive SDWS timber screws, 5-inch, the 3 of them lined up here, the 01, the 02, the 04. Let's smash it. Okay, any difference? Well, they all felt slightly different. They all seemed roughly the same speed-wise though. This felt like it had a bit more vibration through my hand compared to this. This one sounds a bit different, as you will have heard from this. That's because this has dual spring technology, the old DST. So there's 2 springs inside pushing the hammer back and forwards rather than just the one that resets it in here. This one sort of is like a dampener, so it stops the jolting so much on your wrist, which is nice. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it does help a little bit. But I'd have to put that up on a screen to see if it actually was quicker than these two. I'll get my editor to put those next to each other on screen right now. HiKOKI 36 volt. DeWalt 860. Gen 3 Milwaukee. Milwaukee Gen 4. Right, you've seen all those impact drivers next to each other now. They're all driven with my right hand, my dominant arm, so that it's as fair a test as possible. Now we're going to take it up a notch. I don't know which one of those, like what order they were in. If I had to pick it, I'd say this was still the fastest. Maybe this was second. This felt, I think, faster than the Milwaukee's and the HiKOKI, but I'll have to wait until I see the footage, just like you guys. Anyway, let's try something with a bit more girth. and a bit more length. So next up, something a bit more likely to test the torque of these things. We are doubling the length, and we're also increasing the girth dramatically. These are Simpson Strong Tie, Strong Drive, SDWS stainless steel timber screws, and they are a different beast altogether. I need to modify my rig slightly. 10-inch super duper, here we go with the TD004G. Now, there's one thing I've learned about HiKOKI triple hammer impact drivers. They do some weird shit with big screws and stainless screws. Let's go. Wow. Now in theory, the 860 should smash this test compared to everybody else. So let's see what happens. Milwaukee Gen 3. Let's go. Oh, had trouble sinking that, and I think it actually just cut out as I was taking my finger off. Oh, so far, Makita's actually sunk it the nicest. Milwaukee Gen 4. Felt like it maybe did a little bit better than the Gen 3. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. A little hit and miss this tool. Makita TD001G, first gen, let's go. Struggled a wee bit. Makita TD002G. Struggled a bit. Kind of similar to the HiKOKI. Maybe the dual spring, not so good on the big stuff. TD004G, the HiKOKI, the DeWalt, Gen 3 Milwaukee, Gen 4 Milwaukee. This was the 001G, but I ran out of screws, so I had to take it out and use it again for the 002G. HiKOKI struggled. It's maybe on a bit more of a slant. Mind you, those two are on a bit of a slant too. They're all on a bit of an angle because when you take off, the screws tend to just a little bit. So I'm now going to see just how deep I can drive this, whether I can actually keep going with this new Makita. Just going to try and drive this as deep as I can. Right, we got it right down to the collet. Any of those other impact drivers do that? Well, let's see. This will be a pretty good test. I reckon this one is probably the only other one that can do that. We'll see. I'm going to use the HiKOKI screw. So if it was unfair on the poor HiKOKI, it might be unfair on this. If this manages to sink this, then this is a very powerful impact driver. So, 3, 2, 1. got there. Did feel like it struggled a little bit more than the Makita though. And like I say, I don't think any of these other ones are going to do that. And how on earth am I ever going to get those screws back out? These things are like about $7 each or something. Yikes. What are we going to try next? Next up, the Milwaukee Gen 4. Let's go. Smashed it. Milwaukee Gen 3. Did struggle a bit more there in this highly scientific test. Hope that's not going to catch on fire. Bit of smoke coming out of there. At this point in proceedings, I'm retiring these three from any further testing. The Makita 001 and the Makita 002G. I don't think they'll do it, and even if they could, it's going to be a hell of a strain, and I don't want to destroy them just for the sake of this test. And the HiKOKI Gen 3 triple hammer. Also, I don't think it's got the beans to do it, and I don't want to kill it trying, because it is a nice little impact driver, just not that well suited to large screws. So for the next test, we're left with the new Makita and the 860 from DeWalt. What are we going to put with it? The Gen 3 or the Gen 4? What do you reckon? Oh, it's tricky, isn't it? The Gen 4 did better than I thought it was going to do, but oh, it's hard to know. Why don't you guys yell out now? What do you want? Gen 3, Gen 4, type it down below. I'll quickly read your comments. Oh shit, just remembered the internet doesn't work like that. Actually, before we go any further, let's see if we can get those screws back out without actually destroying too many driver bits, hopefully. Right, still in speed 4. Let's go. Makita first. No bother at all. DeWalt. Gen 4 Milwaukee. Gen 3 Milwaukee. Trigger on this is by far the most uncomfortable of any of the ones I'm testing. When you pull the trigger right down, this sharp bit of plastic sticks up miles past the edge of the trigger. Piss poor ergonomic design, that. Right, I'm going to go charge some batteries up for the next test, and I'll see you here soon. Let's just see if the HiKOKI can get out one of these ones that isn't sunk all the way in. Don't want to leave it out. It did, but you might have heard it change a few times there. The sound changes, skips an impact or two. They feel weird with big stuff. Yeah, they're not good with big bolts, and they're not good with big screws, eh? So what about Makita's 18 volt flagship model, I hear you say? The trusty 173, great little tool. But this has a max tightening torque 50 Newton meters less than this, 180, 230. I don't think it's going to be able to do this. But after we've tried, we'll maybe see how quick we can do it with one of these batteries, see if there's any difference. Anyway, lock and load. Wow, it's a good little impact driver. Hits above its weight for sure. Struggled a little bit to get it down as flush as the other ones, but it got there. It got there. I'm impressed. So that was the best 18 volt with the best 18 volt battery. Yes, the 5 amp hour is the best 18 volt battery, I said it. So how's it going to go with basically the best 40 volt battery? You could argue that the 8's better, but if you're using an 8 on an impact driver, you're crazy. This is as big as you really want to go on an impact driver. So the new 4F battery, how will it compare? Let's put them up on screen next to each other, eh? I'm guessing this one was quicker, right? If using impact drivers and adapters has taught me anything, this thing is going to break before I finish this test. But we'll give it a go. We're going to drive these 75mm by 10mm coach screws, or if you're in North America, you might call these 3" by 3/8 of an inch lag bolts. Right, let's do it. No pilot holes. First up, the DeWalt 860. 3, 2, 1. Did I just break that one off? I think I did. They break easy. The new Makita in 3, 2, 1. I think I snapped that one off too, because they're not coming back out. They're all snapping off, I think. You're wondering what that one is. Forgot to push record for that one. Milwaukee Gen 4. 3, 2, 1. Right. They're either all spinning or I've snapped all 4 of them off. Let's take a look. Snapped. That was the DeWalt that I forgot to film. DeWalt that I actually filmed. Snapped. Makita, snapped, and Milwaukee. Look at that, snapped. High quality screws there. Or perhaps these impact drivers are just too damn powerful. They're certainly pretty rough. Let's take it up another notch. Stainless M12 300mm, what do you reckon? That's 12 inches by ½ inch. Any of them got the beans to do that, to drive that all the way through here and out the bottom of my sawhorse? Let's find out. Surely this adapter is done for with this test, which is going to be a bugger because I don't know if I've got any more left. Right, we are not doing a pilot hole. We are just going for it with the Makita, not even in shot. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the Makita, struggling. Basically gone already. Let's measure just how far they got in. Okay, we are looking at, what's that, 230, gone in about 70mm, just under 3 inches. Let's now try, we're not going to take it out, going to leave it there, see just how good this DeWalt is. I'm going to leave the Milwaukee till the end. Let's see if this can go any further. 3, 2, 1. Got about 1 revolution. Now, Milwaukee is a beast. In theory, it shouldn't be able to do it. And in theory, this should come out, but our adapter looks like it might be a bit jabbed. Give me a bit. Milwaukee, can it go even deeper? The Gen 4, let's go. Sneak up on it, you can sort of get a little bit going. Can the Makita get any deeper now? Not a chance. Back to yellow. No. We are at the maximum that is going to go. We're at the maximum this is going to go, I think. Look at that, did you see that? Couple of turds. A little bit again. Gee, she's getting hot quick. Well, scientific as this was, I would say this has more torque than the 282 Newton meter DeWalt and the 230 Newton meter Makita. Now, this shot is just for what a lot of people like to call shits and giggles. So this is the Gen 3 Milwaukee. Is it better than the Gen 4? Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Did you see that? We got a bit of movement out of it. Seems like the Milwaukee, when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of wanting just raw power, still has it, eh? So we're at about 190, so it was about 40 mil further down than what Makita could do with the DeWalt and the Milwaukee. But speaking of Makita, what about a 300 millimeter long one of these? These are, well, that's what it is. Let's go. That was kind of odd. Struggled for that first half and I thought it's never going to get there, but then it's got better and better and better. Interesting. There is obviously a softer board at the bottom of this pile if you haven't worked it out from the previous test. I didn't think it was going to be softer, but it is. Ideally it would have been good to have a hardest one at the bottom to make these things really fight at the end. That did that, but it started off real bad. There's no knots or anything through here, so shouldn't have been that big of an issue. Anyway, next. DeWalt in 3, 2, 1. Didn't like getting that head in, but we got there in the end. Except once again the bit is stuck. The tolerances in here are much tighter than on any other impact driver I've tried. Like, they're much tighter fit for the bit, so any little imperfection on the bit, or if they heat up too much potentially, or they're just tweaked slightly, they can jam much easier. You need to just back it off on something so that you can get them back out. Hopefully that's done it. No, might have to get the vice grips out. Oh no, there we go. Milwaukee Gen 4. They all struggled to get the head in there. Gonna have to go back and watch that footage because I'm now confused which one actually did better. They all struggled a bit, so I'll have to have a look at that and meet you back at the bench. But first, let's see if the Makita can remove this coach screw that it couldn't get in. A little bit of a struggle, but ½ inch with no pilot hole or anything with an impact driver. I mean, you are pushing your luck, right? It didn't break. Look at that. A Kango bit and it didn't break. I'm surprised. So, what do we think of Makita's new high torque impact driver? I've never heard an impact driver advertised as high torque. Impact wrenches, yeah, but this is the first one that Makita have called a high torque impact driver. It's a Makita, so it's got the nice usual features. If you want a nice all-round impact driver though, that's comfortable and less vibration, less noise, that sort of stuff, then I would go for the 173 on the 18 volt or the TD002G on the 40 volt. This, if you aren't already aware after watching this video, is for brute strength. If you drive a lot of big screws all day rather than small stuff, then yeah, this might be the tool for you. I don't know why you would buy this tool for the tech screw mode, and I didn't bother testing it in this video because this tool's not really about that. It's just about trying to be strong and tough and brutish, and well, that's the complete opposite. From the tests though, it is pretty close to the Milwaukee. The Milwaukees are slightly lower rated in their torque rating, yet can still have that extra little bit of kick when things are really tough, which is basically at that max torque setting, of course. The DeWalt, that's a good impact driver, but those 282 Newton meter numbers, I don't think I believe it. It's a very quick impact driver, but I wouldn't say it was a super powerful impact driver. It's pretty damn good. It's right up there with this and the Milwaukee, but it's not 50 Newton meters more than the two of those. Definitely not. I mean, the Milwaukee, when it really comes down to it, still has a slight edge in just bruteness, but it also brutalizes you. It vibrates a lot more than you'll get with this. This is a more comfortable tool to use, of course. But let me know what you think of it down below. And I will see you on another Makita review next week. Cheers to these guys. See ya. Time to salvage some screws. Right.